So you were saying that he had the little Boy Scout shoes, and what happened?
Nothing happened.
About Sam?
Nothing I'm going to tell you about.
What do you mean?
Oh, we had great parties. We would go to the shore.
Where on the shore?
Lake Michigan.
No, but south of the loop? North of the loop? By the museum? Did you go to the museum with him?
No.
He said he liked to go to the museums a lot when he was a kid.
I went to the museum in school with school programs and stuff. I think Sam and I probably did go to the Natural Science Museum at one time or another. I don't remember that.
Did he have a car?
He didn't when I first knew him. Finally, his father got a car after a while. But
and what was your impression of his father?
That was when he was in Evanston, going to school at Northwestern.
Well, you met his family when he was in high school?
Yeah, they lived in an apartment about just a few blocks.
What did they do?
Well, his mother worked for Sears.
Doing what? Sales?
I guess so. Although I can't see her in sales. She may have worked in, the customer service thing. I don't know. She worked there for a long time. And his father, well, that's a question. He was an electrician. But he had a drinking problem. And the church daddy would hire him every once in a while to do jobs, and sometimes he wouldn't show up and this type of thing. And Sam would tell stories of meeting his father at the bar after school and having to wait until he was ready to go home. And so it wasn't...
high school or elementary school?
Well, this would have been in maybe in elementary. I didn't know him when he was in elementary school. I mean, see, I went to Austin the second half of my junior year. Well, Sam was already a senior. So then when I was a senior, he was going to Wright Junior College.
He went to a junior college?
Yeah.
Wright Junior College?
WRIGHT.
And that was...
I don't know if he went 1 or 2 years, and then he went well, he didn't have the money to go to Northwestern.
How did he get the money then?
Well, he lived at home and went on the elevated train thing on back and forth. And then when he was there, he worked in a kitchen, I think. Which is kind of surprising. Cleaning up or whatever. I don't know what he did, very honestly. I was...
And so you decided to go off to your college. Where was that?
McAllister. Well, Carol had gone there. And
was she still there when you were there?
No, she graduated and then I went the next year.
And how was that adjustment for you, going to college?
It's all right. I went with a good friend of mine from church, Shirley Barnes, who lives in Midland, Michigan now. And we went together.
Were you still scared of everything?
I was pretty nervous, yeah. No, I don't think I was scared at that point.
You could pass out the milk.
Actually, I'll have to say the time when I became a bit more outgoing, whenever it was, probably after I graduated from college, and I worked the next summer at Lake Champlain at the YMCA camp. And then Stephanie and I took the train out to San Francisco, and we got rooms at the Evangeline, which is like the YMCA only for the Salvation Army, on 6th Street in downtown Seattle. What fun. And those days were great.
Yeah? What'd you do there?
I worked at Frederick & Nelson.
Department store?
Department store. Famous. It's a subsidiary of Marshall Field. Nice. I walked down 6 blocks and over to work and then walked back up. After standing on my feet all day long. But we had fun.
That was during the summer of what year?
No, that would be the fall of the year after. Okay, graduated 54. Be the fall of 54.
And where was Sam Moore?
Sam was in San Diego. He was on the Boxer. He was on the carry of the Boxer, and then it.
For 9 months? Is that what he stayed on?
No,
for 9
I don't know
months?
how long he was on that. Whatever. But anyway, he was down in San Diego, or Coronado. No, San Diego. And then he got on the Missouri. Oh dear, I have to remember these. Yeah, the Missouri came up to Seattle. And you would see the big picture of me. I've got my hair all up in now. A bun thing in the back, and I have this beautiful red knit 2-piece dress with black, and there's a big picture of me in the paper with Sam and with the captain of the ship standing around the circle where the end of the war between Japan, was that on the Missouri? Whatever. What had to be the Second World War, I guess. Anyway, and so then he was, no, this is not.
Do you have that picture now from the paper?
Oh yeah, it's in the photo albums. It's a newspaper clipping.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute, yeah, that was in Seattle. No, now wait a minute. No, San Francisco. And then your father, then he was on the Missouri, and they mothballed it up in Bremerton, Washington. And he called me and he said, there's a Frederick and Nelson here. I forget the walking down. Now, Stephanie and I went to the Evangeline in San Francisco, and I worked at the Emporium. And I was on the buying training program, to buy
what
for
was
departments.
The Emporium?
A big department store.
Mm.
This was my thing, was retail, has always been. Anyway, and then he said, come up to Seattle, there's Frederick and Nelson here, and he was in Bremerton, which wasn't all that far away. And there wasn't an Evangeline there, so I left and went up there by myself. And then what happened? And that's where I worked. I worked at Frederick and Nelson. Then I got a job at Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
You could believe that. I worked on a computer that was as big as a typewriter, on heat transfer for the 707? What are the ones now? They're way up there, right? It's one of the first. Heat transfer. And that is where I met Elaine Dubois. That time she was Elaine, starts with an H. Can't remember. She got married to Jim Dubois. Anyway,
what did you do on the heat transfer?
I plotted. That's why I like numbers. I like plots. I've always liked them. Anyway, so I did that. And then I guess we decided to get married. Your father sent me, I've been dancing, I've been having fun, going out. We had fun. Stephanie and Joanne Kresge of the Kresge dime store. You're too young, you don't know Kresge. It's like Woolworths or Ben Franklin. Anyway, she was a distant relative, and she was funnier than a rubber crutch. And we would go, she and Stephanie and I. Stephanie's the one that now lives in Winter Park, and she calls me and we talk. We just last week and started laughing about the stuff we did that we would never do now, or let our kids do now. I mean, things are different. We went to this, we'd go walk downstairs, we'd walk from the Evangeline, and we were right in downtown in Seattle, she said, it's the Melody Inn. I know it was the Melody Inn. Anyway, and we go down there, and there'd be shows, and there'd be dancing with guys, mostly servicemen stuff. And then at the intermission, these people would, I know I've told you this story, would walk around, and they were masculine, but they were all women. I was so naive. I didn't know what a transvestite was. God, it was funny. Oh, we had so much fun. Those were the days. I still don't drink beer, don't I? I drank Loganberry wine. Flips. They were called Flips, and it's Loganberry wine and 7-Up. Anyhow, yeah, we had fun.
What happened with the transvestite?
Oh, nothing. They'd walk around and talk to you, and nothing happened. Anyway, and then when we were done, we would walk home. But while I was at Boeing is when I bought, when Sam went overseas, he was on the bottom. No, I don't know what it was. He left, we bought a Nash. You heard about the Nash? Everyone called it the turn bathtub. That's the way it looked. And your father we bought it for $300 and some dollars, I don't remember. Because the passenger seat, the back, laid down. He thought I was going to lie down. It never happened, I'll tell you that. That was the joke, that's why. So when he left and was on a ship, that car, I had a corner room I had for $17 a week and 2 meals a day. I paid a little more. Stephanie said, well, I paid $15 and I had a tiny little room. Okay. Across the street, right across the street, sat that Nash. I didn't know how to drive. I'd never driven. Well, gosh, I can't think of her name. Anyway, a good friend I met. She kind of taught me to drive. We decided we have to take. You learn to drive in Seattle. Streets like this, and there's a stop light at every one. And this was not automatic shift. I did learn.
Was the shift on the tree or down below?
Down below. No?
You used to have shift up here.
I think maybe it was.
On the steering column.
I think it was up there. And I'm trying to think if that was... No, then when I was working at Boeing is when I had to have my ear surgery. And by then I had bought, the Nash was out of the picture, and I bought my 1940 Plymouth from Bob Campbell for $50. How I loved it. It had a radio. I loved that car. And I would drive to Lake Washington, and we could watch the, what are those boats with the rooster tail things?
Speedboats.
Yeah, anyway, they have a big thing every year, and they practice. And I go down and watch them just, lie in the grass. Oh, it's great. Okay, so then I had to have my ear surgery, and I had to park this car. I know I've told you this story. And of all things, the morning, or maybe the day before, it snowed in Seattle.
Why'd you have ear surgery?
That's why I have all this ear thing.
Why'd you have it?
Because I could not hear out of it. During a hayride, in which I should not have gone in Chicago, I had a terrible cold, but of course I was going on a hayride with Sam, and I got a really bad cold. I was in college then. Must have been the last year, because this all came to fruition in Seattle. I couldn't hear on the phone. I couldn't hear it. And I had a lot of drainage. Terrible. It was terrible. So I had to have this pretty serious ear surgery where they grafted skin from my leg.
Really?
And they put it inside the I can't think of the name, what do you call it? Anyway, inside the
U-station tube?
and enlarge that. That's why a lot of headphones won't fit, because I have a very large opening. I can't think of it, but anyway, whatever. So that day it snowed, and the roads going up from the Evangeline, which I had to get on to get to a place where I could leave the car parked for a couple weeks, were brick. So with snow on brick, it's very slippery. Oh God. I still remember this. Going out, getting in my car, and making that turn, and just creeping up this road, brick road, and then I had to turn this way, and then I had to turn this way. That wasn't brick, but I still had, and snow, and there happened to be, I think I had to go more streets. I'm sure I did. There was a parked car here and a parked car here, and my car literally slid into this space, and I sat there and thought, thank God. And it stayed there for 2 or 3 weeks before I could drive. That was an experience.
I was in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Did you drive the car to work? At Boeing?
No, I was in a carpool. Isn't it funny? I can't remember where did I get the carpool?
Going back to McAllister, how'd you select your major?
My major was, if you can believe it, economics, but business administration really. Because economics was not my field. But I had 2 years there, and then I was, for 7, my junior year I was at Hanover College in Hanover, Hanover, Indiana.
Why?
Because I couldn't get business administration at McAllister at that time. For some reason, I have a feeling somebody didn't give me right information, but whatever. That junior year at Hanover College was about, or the downtown area was about the size of Lakewood, maybe a little bigger. And the college had maybe 500 students with 5 sororities and fraternities, and me coming in as a junior. And I got a roommate, Mary Lou Brown. Mary Lou Brown was something else. She ended up with